They grew closer, and they used to meet up quite often, which led to things being rekindled. They've been sleeping together for 6 months, which has led to the confusion as to who the father could be. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, "My Partner with Terminal Cancer Confessed That Our Children Might Not Be Mine." And guys, this story, which is definitely sad on many fronts here, it's about a guy who's been with his girlfriend for 7 years. And in that time period, they bought a house together, and eventually she got pregnant and had twin daughters. And then she was diagnosed with cancer. And in time, it was shown to be fatal. And she is pretty much, the clock is ticking, is going to die soon. And one day, they're out and about, and she confessed to him, crying, of course, that the kids might not be his. That during the time when, I guess he was working a lot, she felt lonely, and that whole story, and as a result, she's not sure who the kids belong to, that type of thing. And as you can imagine, this guy is obviously just beyond furious, confused, hurt, all that, because he doesn't know. Are these my kids? She did that to me all this time, blah, blah, blah. All sorts of resentment towards her, a big freaking mess. And obviously in the back of his mind that, hey, these aren't my kids. I don't want them because every time I see them, I'm going to be reminded of her lie, blah, blah, blah. It's a big, big freaking mess. So I'm going to go through a story here, guys. And it goes to show you how important paternity tests are. It's amazing to me. Some of these stories I've done both on both channels involve guys finding out after years that the kids aren't there. I did one yesterday about a guy after 18 years found out that his kids weren't his. It's crazy. So it starts off, it says here, "I'm a bit of a loss what to do. I've already sent off for a DNA test, so this is more of the aftermath as if they are not mine. We've been together for 7 years. We have twin daughters who are nearly 3 years old and bought a house together 5 years ago. She had a breast cancer diagnosis just over 2 years ago, and after intense chemo and radiotherapy, as well as a double mastectomy, we thought we were in the clear, but it has spread to her lymph nodes and from there elsewhere. Earlier this year, we were given the terminal diagnosis. I've been doing everything I can to make her as comfortable as possible, and I quit my job late last year so I could look after all 3 of them better. Her parents live nearby, so they've been helping, but as they're quite old, it's difficult for them." Well, you think this poor guy, obviously this poor guy, because the woman he loves and the mother of his kids is dying. The clock's ticking, right? Very sad situation. This guy's doing whatever he can to help out, to take care of her and all that. This is a good guy. But as you're going to see, when a good guy is pushed too far and crushed, watch what happens. He says, "One day we were sitting in the sunshine this weekend together whilst the girls were with their grandparents, and she just started crying and talking a mile a minute. The gist of it was, after we bought our house, she started talking to her ex, as I was always busy with work and she was lonely. They grew closer and they used to meet up quite regularly, which led to things being rekindled. They've been sleeping together for 6 months, which has led to the confusion as to who the father could be." So this guy finds this out. She's on her deathbed and has to tell this guy, because otherwise she probably never would have told him. He never would have known. And remember, this is the guy that's obviously quit his job to take care of her, everything he can, and he finds out this information. And I might add, notice she said he was working a lot. So he wasn't giving her all the attention that she felt she was entitled to. So instead of communicating with him that she feeling lonely, working on the relationship, whatever, she cheats on him. And not just one time. This has been going on for months. Right? And the guy's busting his butt to take care of her, the house, the family, and all that. This is the thanks this guy gets. When I asked her when did she stop things, she said she didn't. And after he found out she was pregnant, he stopped answering her, and she hasn't heard from him since. So she was with a regular chatter Tyrone. And the second he found out she was pregnant, see ya, he disappeared. That's how Chad and Tyrone operate. And yet these gals will chase after them over and over and again, but they'll cheat on the good guy that works hard, takes care of them. They'll want to have your cake and eat it too type of scenario here. And a lot of people might say, I'm not saying it, but a lot of people might say that what she got here, this diagnosis and it's terminal, was her karma. I think that's a bit extreme, even for me, but some people might be thinking that. He goes on, Maybe the shock hasn't hit me yet, or maybe it has, but I'm at a loss. My first thought is to run away. If the girls aren't mine, I'm not sure I can be the father to them if she's gone, as I'll always hold that resentment against her, and it'll impact our relationship. I know the children are blameless, but I cannot have a relationship with them if they're not mine, and I think they're young enough that it's better for me to leave. Tough situation. You can't blame this guy at all if he finds out these kids are not his. Okay? Because they're that dude's kids, and he disappeared. And yeah, he's always going to be reminded of this. And if those kids weren't there, he'd probably take off for the hills at this point. But then again, the kids are blameless. It's not their fault, right? And up until this point, he obviously loved them very much. It's a very tough situation. You feel bad for him, for both finding, potentially, we'll see how this goes, finding this out, finding about her cheating on him, and not just once, but for 6 months. And she would have kept doing it if that dude hadn't taken off, because that's how Chad and Tyrone operates. It's a big mess here. Now he provides an update. It says here, my previous post can be found here. He lists that. I received the results this morning, and they've confirmed that the children, wait for it, aren't mine. I've been staying with a friend since then and haven't been back to the house. She sent me a lot of messages and left a lot of voicemails, but I haven't replied. I know her parents are currently staying with her, and her sister is going to take a flight from down under to stay with her for a while through the messages. I've got an appointment with a lawyer this afternoon to make sure I do everything correctly. Getting my name off the certificate seems easy enough, but I just want to make sure that I do it with the proper legal advice. It's been a very tough weekend, which I think it's the best to no longer be part of their lives at all. I understand the children are blameless, but I will always hate their mother, and I don't want that to tarnish their relationship with her. Any memories of her that may have, or my relationship with them. I love them both dearly, but the hatred I have for their mother currently outweighs that. I've sought advice from elsewhere, and they're young enough that they won't really remember me that much, if at all. That sucks. This is what an awful situation, and once again showing how, it's not a bad idea to have paternity tests nowadays as a standard, because it's amazing to me, these stories that I've gone over. I've been doing this for 2 years now. It's absolutely amazing. Sad, but amazing. But those kids, you can't blame the guy for his reaction like this in the short term. And you also can't totally blame the guy if he doesn't want to have anything to do with those kids, because they're not his biological children. They're not even 3 years old. Yes, the odds are they won't remember him, But it's a tough situation. I have to wonder how he might feel in 6 months when he's cooled off. Maybe he might give another chance. I don't know. He continues. He says here that we are not married, so it's just a case of walking away. The mortgage is more difficult, as I'll have to continue to pay for that for the time being, but I'm speaking to our life insurance provider about it, and I'm happy to leave the house to the children. Essentially, I just want a clean break. In other words, she passes away, her life insurance policy kicks in, he gets a big bunch of money, I guess obviously it's left to him, pays for the house, and leaves the house to the kids so they have an asset they can draw from one day. So he is in essence taking care of them to a point, but after that, he's out of there. People can go back and forth on whether he's the devil or it's warranted. Thank you for the wide range of advice I was given. It gave me a lot to think about. Thank you also for the torrent of private abuse, which offered me another perspective. People were tearing him apart in the comment sections. He says, here is a comment from OP that provides some extra context about the future of the children. Oh, this is an extra update. The guy said, I'm not too sure. I suppose their mother will have to have it sorted out. I'm not sure that if the parents will be able to adopt them, as they're quite old. She has a sister but lives in Australia with her own family, so it might be, I can't talk right. So it might be that they'd move their children to live with her. Or she can track down her ex and have him adopt them. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I'll be sending off the application to be removed from the birth certificate today. It's been a very tough decision, and I have considered remaining in their lives after she dies, but ultimately, I don't think that'd be the best decision. So that's the end of his story. Now I'm going to get to the comments section. Let me tell you guys, there was all sorts of comments. There's comments people agreeing with it, and there's comments people pretty much calling him the devil. But pretty much everybody can agree the poor kids, because they are blameless here. Or they can understand he's upset, but they're like, how can you just walk away? Very tough situation. I think the guy needs time to cool off and then make his decision, to really think about it, because he may change his mind after she's gone and all that. But I think at the very least, it's good to him that he's going to get the insurance policy, pays off the house, and leaves it to them. And maybe her aunt can take care of them or a family member, who knows? But at the end of the day, if he truly thinks, after really thinking this through, it's not going to work, well then perhaps they're better off with a family member. Who knows? Now here are a few comments here. One guy says, my heart is breaking for those kids. The OP, my heart hurts for you too, and the ultimate betrayal you're suffering. Those kids are about to lose both parents. What a terrible situation. Maybe you can't be their father anymore. I have no idea how I'd feel in your shoes, but I urge you to let the dust settle a little more before making these huge decisions based on, in your own words, hatred. Like you, those kids are innocent. That's what I think. I think the guy should take his time to really think about everything through, let the emotions, because right now, I mean, just whoosh, he's reacting like that with fire, and you can't blame him. Another guy says, I think you've done what's best for you. Look after yourself, be prepared for whatever hate comes your way. With all choices in life, she happily made hers. The fact that the affair only ended when he ran away solidified it to me. The girls will hopefully be loved by their family. There's no need for them to be raised by someone who resents them. She has time to make plans. You deserve this better than this. Good luck. Yeah, she's not dead yet, so she can make the plans and all that, but it is an ugly situation. And one more, guy says, that's devastating. You're by no means obligated to continue providing for children that are not yours. Their biological father is out there somewhere, and those children are his responsibility going forward. What she did to both of you and the children is cruel and borderline sociopathic. She felt no shame or guilt up until her health tanked. It seemed like she wants everyone else to feel as much pain as she's feeling. She's going to have to deal with it all on her own right now. It's what she rightly deserves. Yeah, I'm guessing if she never got sick and didn't get a fatal diagnosis, that the guy probably never would have found out. But I don't think it's a good idea these kids go off to their Chatter Tyrone baby daddy, because that guy ain't going to be able to take care of them nor care. So I would say in this situation, although it certainly warranted his reaction to this, is that really thinks about it and goes from there. But maybe they end up going with their aunt or some family member, who the hell knows. But like I said, guys, you can't make this shit up. And I honestly do think, knowing what I know, paternity tests got to be the standard. Of course, this would make most women lose their freaking minds over this, saying, how dare you? But hear enough of these stories, and I got to wonder, guys, you just walk around and you look at families with little kids, go to a place like Disney World, right? With little kids everywhere. How many of those kids, with that father there that's pushing the stroller, how many of them are actually the father of those kids? I got to wonder. It sounds screwed up, but seriously, hearing these types of stories. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. I'd like to hear your opinion. Is he going too far, or you should walk away? I'd like to hear the opinions on this particular subject. It's interesting. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.